Yo, you already know it's the Orlando. And today, guys, I bring you the top 5 most slept on builds in NBA 2K20. Yo, are you looking for affordable professional NBA jerseys? Well, look no further. JerseyGods.com offers the same high quality replica NBA and NFL jerseys for a low price. Selections include current NBA jerseys, throwback NBA jerseys, NBA shorts, and even NFL jerseys for a fraction of the price. Make sure you use code OG for a discount. The link will be in the description down below. There's a lot of builds, man, this year. There's a lot of builds you can make this year. But I feel like these 5 are like overlooked. They're underrated. They're not appreciated, and they're really good builds, man. Like, you don't see them too often at the park. You see, like, you know, like sprinkles of them at the park because they're really good builds. A lot of people be making the same builds, you know, like the playmaking shot creators, the glass cleaning lockdowns, and all of that. But these 5 builds, they're around the park. They're just not very common. And yeah, we're gonna get right into them. But first, I've been telling you guys this almost every video, man. I respond to every single comment you guys leave me down below for the first hour I release a video. So make sure you guys have your notifications on so you guys get a chance to leave me a question so I can answer it. But yeah, guys, without further ado, let's just get right into it. The first build on the list is the 2-way inside out scorer. And this is how you make the build. You're going to want to make them into a point guard and pick the red and green pie chart. That's the shooting and defending rebounding pie chart. After that, for the second pie chart, you guys can just pick the first one, the fastest speed one. Since you're a guard, you want to be quick. And then you want your attributes to read like this: 6 finishing, 15 shooting, 10 playmaking, and 21 defensive rebounding badges. So this build gets a total of 52 badges in all right? We're gonna look at the stats after we finish the build here. For the height, you're gonna wanna go with 6'5", and for the weight, we're gonna wanna go minimum weight because you wanna increase your acceleration as much as possible, and this helps with that. And then for the wingspan, you're going to want to go with the normal wingspan, all right? The normal wingspan, that's 81.6. If you minimize your wingspan all the way low, you will not get the 2-way inside out build. You will get a like 2-way 3-level score, which is a good build. But this build's just as good because you get a longer wingspan. You're able to play better defense. Look at the stats, man. You get good inside game, man. You can, you know, finish at the rim. You get a good close shot, a good driving dunk. You can shoot, man. Shooting is pretty darn good on this build. An 80 mid-range, 80 3-pointer. If you reach 99.9 overall, that's going to be bumped up to 85s right there, right? You're not going to be able to dribble like that with this build since it caps out at a 75 ball handle. But like, people who make this build aren't looking to be dribble guys, you know what I'm saying? And the passing is good, and obviously the defense is really good. You get a ton of defensive badges on this build. The rebounding is good for a guard. Solid defensive badges, all right, guys? And then after you make the build, you get a choice of 4 takeover badges. Choose whichever one you like, and then boom, it will tell you have built the 2-way inside out score. And a lot of legends who have already reached legend this year have made this build. A lot of people think this build is really good, and it's really slept on. No one's really out there with this build, you know? People are afraid to make different builds because they rather just make the safe build that they know is already, you know, a well-known build that a lot of people use. But as y'all can see, man, this build has really good stats, really good badges. It's super slept on, and that's why it's on the list. The next build on the list is a 2-way slashing playmaker. This build was made famous or popular by LaMonsta. It was like his first main build, the one he plays on a lot with, you know? And this is how you make this build. You're gonna wanna make him into a point guard, all right? A point guard, and you're gonna wanna pick the red and orange pie chart, the defensive and playmaking pie chart on this one, all right, guys? And then for the next profile, you guys can just pick the first one, the speed one. So you have 95 speed, 95 acceleration. That's going to help a ton on this build, all right? You want to be super fast. And then you're going to want your badges to read like this: 11 finishing, 10 shooting, 20 playmaking, and 20 defensive rebounding badges. This build gets a total of 61 badges. Yeah, 61. That's an insane amount of badges. And then for the height on this build, you're going to want to go with 6'5", and for the weight, you're going to want to keep it at 195, just because, you know, your speed and acceleration is already maxed out, and you want to keep your strength because you're going to be slashing in the paint. You know what I'm saying? The higher the strength, the better your finishing will be in the paint. And then for the wingspan on this build, you're going to want to do minimum wingspan, all right? So your stats are going to be amazing. Look at the stats. You get a 75 mid-range shot, a 69 three-point shot. Once you reach that 99 overall, that's going to bump up into the 70s. And you can get up to an 80 mid-range shot once you get 99.9 overall. The inside finishing, guys, you get an 87 driving dunk. You get contact dunk. That's already like hella fun. You know, this is like a fun build. You can shoot a little bit and you can finish with contact dunks. And then the defense is insane. And you can dribble like a dribble god. You got an 87 ball handle. Then after that, you get a choice of 4 takeovers. Pick whichever one you like. I would recommend the slashing takeover for this build. And then after that, it will tell you you have built a 2-way slashing playmaker. It's a super slept on build. Lamasta uses it all the time. Some people have been using it, but you don't see it enough at the park. And you guys are just sleeping on this build. Go make this build. This build is hella fun to use. And that's why it's on the list. The next build on the list is, well, we got to throw in a big man on the list, and that is the 2-way stretch 5. And this is how you make the build. You're going to want to make him into a center and pick the mostly green pie chart. All right, mostly green pie chart. And for the physical profile, I would just go with the last one or the second one. The second or last one is best for this build. And then your badges are going to read 3 finishing, 24 shooting, 1 playmaking, and 9 defensive rebounding badges. All right. And for the height on this build, you're going to want to go 7'1". You want to be a big boy. You know, you don't want to be too small or too big. 7'1" is perfect. And for the weight, I would just go with maximum weight. So you get a higher interior defense. It bumps it up to an 80. And then for the wingspan, this is where, if you guys want to choose something, you guys can go max wingspan if y'all like, but your shooting's gonna, take a hit, So I think the perfect wingspan for this build would be a 90.1. So you still have solid shooting stats and your arm length isn't too short, And then your stats are going to read something like this. You're going to have an 85 close shot. You're going to be able to have a 75 standing dunk, which is good. Your shooting's actually going to be insane for a center. And then your defense is pretty good for a big man. You're going to be able to guard those big men in the paint. You're going to be able to get some boards and, you'll be able to block some shots. This is a really popular build people have sort of been making nowadays. And then after that, you get a choice of 2 takeovers. Pick whichever one you like, and it will have told you have built the 2-way stretch 5. This build is a beast on scoring and shooting. It's an amazing spot up build, and it can play some defense, and it can guard those tough to guard big men in the paint. You'll be able to get them blocks, boards, and stops. But yeah, guys, this build is slept on. I've seen some godlike 2-way stretch 5s at the park, and that's why it's on the list. The next build on the list is the floor spacing slasher. For this build, you can make him a point guard, or you can also make him into a shooting guard. The stats will change a little bit, but not too much. It's going to be whatever preference you make. We're going with the point guard on this build. And then for the pie chart, you're going to want to go with the green and blue pie chart. All right. And for the second physical profile, we're just going to go with the speed one. And then you're going to want your badges to read 19 finishing, 20 shooting, 9 playmaking, and 6 defensive rebounding badges. So this build gets a ton of badges. All right. And for the height on this build, you're going to want to make them 6'5", and you're going to want to make them 195 pounds. All right, 195. And you're going to want to go with the lowest wingspan to increase your shooting. All right. For this build, you don't really care about your defense on this build. This build's about shooting and dunking. Look at the stats. You get an 83 driving dunk. Once you get like a 97 overall, you get contact dunks. You get an 85 driving layup, a good close shot, Your shooting stats are really good. You get an 83 3-point shot rating, which is amazing. You'll be able to be a dribble god once you reach like a 98 overall. You'll get all the dribble moves and combos. And then the defense isn't too bad. You know, you get a 75 perimeter defense, and your defense is just kind of mediocre. I mean, this build wasn't made to be a defending build, you know, it was made to have fun and be able to score in multiple ways, you know. But once you know you finish all that up, you get a choice of 4 takeovers. Pick whichever one you like, and then it will have told you you have built the floor spacing slasher. This build you don't see too often at the park. A lot of people are hesitant. Like I said, I'm making a lot of these builds because they just want to go with the safe build that everyone's making. But if you want to be different and you want something that's good, make this build. This build is slept on, and that's why it's on the list. The last build on the list is the All-Around TwoWay. Yo, this build is crazy. All right, guys, this is like a build. If you just want to have fun, you're gonna make this build. So let's just get into it, man. You're gonna want to make this build into a point guard, and then you're gonna want to go with the red and green pie chart, the defensive rebounding and shooting pie chart. All right, and then you're gonna want to go with the first physical profile, the speed one. And then after that, you're going to want your badges to read 6 finishing, 16 shooting, 13 playmaking, and 19 defensive rebounding badges. And for the height on this build, you're going to want to go 6'1". Yeah, this build's going to have to be 6'1". Like I said, man, this build's a lot of fun. I know a lot of people will not make this build because it's so short. But the people who have made this build, I heard they have a lot of fun with this build. Like, this isn't like a comp build. This is just like a, you know, have fun at the park kind of build. You're gonna have tons of fun. You're gonna get a lot of value out of this build. But if you want to play competitively, I wouldn't make this build. But if you just want to have fun at the park with your boys, man, this is the build. All right, so let's look at the stats. You made him 6'1". You're gonna want to go minimum weight, so he gets maximized, you know, he gets the max acceleration and lateral quickness. And then you're gonna want to go with the lowest wingspan. So look at the stats on this build. Like I said, it's a build full of fun. You can dunk, you got good finishing, and some people made it with more finishing badges, but I feel like he's 6'1", so he doesn't need a lot of finishing. You're not gonna be finishing like crazy with the 6'1" guy, so we put more on defense on this build. So yeah, you get 6 finishing, good finishing stats, you get amazing shooting, you get an 86 mid-range, 83 3-pointer. You can dribble like a dribble god if y'all like. Once you hit 96 overall, you get that +1, so you get an 85 ball handling. And then your defense is off the charts, man. Even though you're small, 6'1", and a really small wingspan, you get really good defense. You get an 86 steal. All right, you're gonna be able to pick pockets left and right with this build. All right, and you get Hall of Fame badges on the defensive end. So this build is tough. All right, it's tough. After all of that, you get a choice of 4 takeovers. Pick whichever one y'all like, and then you have built the All-Around TwoWay. And this build, if I can get badges quickly and I just wanted to go out and have some fun, get some good content or whatever, I would make this build. It'd be hella fun to play with, and that's why it's on the list. All right, guys, that does it for this list of top 5 most slept on builds. I know there's a lot of builds people sleep on, so if you guys want to see a part 2, let me know in the comments down below. But for right now, guys, I'm the O, and I'm out.
Racks coming, I put my low racks on it. I ain't skip past losses, I had to get back off it. See the Fit Lab on it until they whip my coffin. Money clip, I tossed it, I heard it's big bags on big bags on big bags coming, coming in. Yeah, flex, I just wanna win. Yeah, LABB.